just wanted to welcome you to the Scholarships Finding the Hidden Dollar workshop. What's really exciting for us is this year we got to host 2 times this particular scholarship workshop because of demand. We had over 75 participants wanting to get in, and we can only do 30 at a time. So we're really excited that you're interested in learning how to find scholarships, because there are ways, my goodness. And you're going to see throughout the presentation at the bottom of some of the slides, you're going to see some facts and myths that we're going to break. And one myth that we're going to break right off the get-go is that there are more than $15 million worth of scholarships that go unclaimed each year simply because nobody applies. So our big thing is going to be stake your claim, apply. We will have a parking lot at the end, so if you have any questions, I have my beautiful assistant Brenda who will be writing your questions from the chat into the parking lot. And it looks like everybody knows how to log in, but we'll just give a quick tour of the participant panel. If you're joining on a PC, Mac, or laptop, we ask you to mute your microphone by clicking on this little tiny icon there, the little mute icon. When you do that, it will turn red, and then we know that you're muted. And then it's like a toggle, so you can unmute at any time to speak, and we hope you do for sure. There are also emojis if you want to raise your hand to ask a question. And also there is at the very end a little happy face emoji. If you find the coffee cup through the drop-down menu and you have to leave for any particular reason, please let us know that you've left by putting the coffee cup up so that we know that you're not having IT issues and you just stepped away for a moment. Also, most of the conversations today are going to be in the chat, and the chat is found on the bottom right-hand side of your screen. It's a little bit different if you're joining on a cell phone for you, Ono and Jeanette, and I will share with you that in a minute, how to join in a cell phone your chat. But really the chatting is really important. So just give me a hello in the chat to all participants so that I can make sure that your chat is working. Hey, good. Ono, you've got it good. Andrea, excellent. Yay, terrific. Excellent. Okay, and if you're joining on a cell phone, the chat is here at there's a bottom, or your participant panel may also have the tools. So I am really excited to have you here today, and now we're going to get started with the agenda for today. So it's going to be an action-packed 90 minutes. And we started with the housekeeping, then we're going to introduce the presenters, and then we're going to play a game of myth versus facts after we've looked at some costs. Then we're going to look very briefly at the Scholarships Canada website, because I'm going to show you a few pointers to look at, but really that's for you to explore, because we're going to show you where to go and then it's up to you. And then we have a special guest speaker today. Her name is Janet McDonald from My Campus GPS, and she is a scholarship coach. So she helps people write winning essays for scholarships. We are lucky to have her here for the 2nd time. Very excited. So we're going to talk about these things. 720 hours in a month. Did you know that? It only takes 3. The purpose and objective. We're going to talk about common themes, making it readable, some tips, and we're going to make sure that you edit your essays as well. Then we're going to look into where else we can find scholarships besides Scholarships Canada, and we're going to have a door prize and an evaluation. So it's going to be action-packed, and I'd like to introduce you to Janet McDonald, the founder of and scholarships coach of My Campus GPS.
Thanks, everybody. I'm really happy to be here for the 2nd time. I'm glad we have a great, looks like a great crowd here tonight, and I'm excited to start.
Excellent. Yes. And what's your background? How did you get into this?
Right. So I'm a former university admissions officer. So I was an assistant registrar of admissions at Dalhousie University for a number of years, and I was an admissions officer at University of British Columbia in Vancouver. And through my work and speaking with thousands of students and parents, I discovered that there were many students who didn't know a lot about scholarships, and some of them probably could have funded part or, in fact, you know, a lot of their university through scholarships if they had just known more about them. So I knew about scholarships. I loved helping students, and so I put that together with they needed help. I knew the information, and that's how I created my Campus GPS. So now I work with students across Canada. I do work with high school students and their parents to help them to find scholarships and to write winning scholarship applications.
Excellent. Thank you so much for sharing your wisdom with us. My name is Margaret McKenzie. My specialty is interactive online training and program development, and I'm a CAF spouse with about 29 years experience. Oh, it keeps going up. 12 postings and more than 200 weeks of family separation, so I certainly get it. Lisa, you're not able to hear us. Okay, I will help you in a moment. And Brenda, are you able to chat with Lisa to maybe help her with the audio by clicking on the audio button? Can you get her doing that?
Yeah, sure, I can help her out.
That would be awesome. Thank you so much. All right, so here's the thing is the average cost to study, and this is a low estimate, guys. If you're going to university, this is a low estimate. 20,000 to 25,000, that's per year. And oh my goodness, it's just really frightening when you think about how much resources you have to put in to go to university and get an education. But it's not all bad, because Scholarships Canada website alone has more than 99,000 awards, yes, totaling almost $200 million, not thousand, $200 million, and they're waiting for you to claim. So it gets better. All right, so now what we're going to do is I'm going to put it over to you. In the chat, now I know you all found the chat, so in the chat, tell me your best reason for why you cannot apply for scholarships. Go. Why can you not apply for scholarships? Give me all your reasons. Go. I'll write them down for you. What's stopping you from applying for scholarships? No extracurricular. Okay. No extracurricular activities. What else? Don't know how to apply. Janet, would you mind reading them out for me? Because they're coming fast and furious.
Not sure how to apply. Most are very specific for who can apply. Deadlines are approaching quickly.
Oh yeah, that's right. But that's just a myth. I'm so excited you brought that up.
Not the right demographic.
Not the right demographic. Thank you so much. Anything else?
Not sure when to start to apply.
Okay. Not in financial need. Oh, difficult from OutCan.
Yeah, I'm not familiar with that, but you sound like you are. Not sure where to look.
Okay. Okay, these are great. So look at this. Not sure where to look. No community involvement. No extracurricular activities. Well, a lot of these are myths. And we're going to go through that. Your child is autistic and you're not sure how to guide them through the application. Well, we're going to give you a lot of tips, Arlene, and we can certainly help you after the session as well. So the first myth that we're going to look at is not in what's that? I'm not in financial need, so I cannot apply for scholarships. Nah. That's a myth. That's not true. Sorry, I don't have a bell or a buzzer. Only 32% of scholarships on Scholarships Canada website require you to be in financial need. So you do not have to be in financial need to access scholarships. And
the definition of financial need is also debatable, I guess you would say, because there's no one definition of demonstrated financial need. So the funder determines what that is. So if it doesn't say specifically on the application what they mean by demonstrated financial need, then contact the funder. If you think that you would apply, if you would meet that requirement, contact the funder, and they will often say, yes, you do meet that requirement, or yes, I encourage you to apply.
Contacting the funder, communicating is a really great idea. Thank you so much for sharing that, Janet. Okay, myth number 2, only schools give scholarships. That is not true. So there's more than 10,000 scholarships that are non-school related, that are from corporations or associations or trade unions or religious organizations. All you have to do is ask. Like Janet was saying, ask the administrator, ask your parents, ask where you're working. Just ask and see what they have. Okay, myth number 3. There is too much competition. Well, we're going to squash that myth right now because 59% of scholarship administrators would like to have more applications. 3% of scholarships receive no application at all. And this just in from Scholarships Canada today on their Facebook site. There are more than 15 billion in scholarships that go unclaimed every year. So I'm going to say this throughout. Stake your claim. Apply for those scholarships.
One of the things that I will just say about that, the thought of there's too much competition, I'll never win, so therefore I'm not going to apply. That's very common. But if you think about it, if you're thinking that way, how many other people are thinking that way, and they're not going to apply? So there's part of your competition gone right there, because they are not going to push past that and apply. If you apply, you're way ahead of the game already.
Excellent. I like that. Half your competition's gone just because you've applied. Okay, myth number 4. It takes too long to apply for scholarships. Oh my goodness. It's just so much research and too long. Well, that is a myth. The fact is, it takes about 3 hours to apply for your first scholarship. It takes much less for each further application because you have the whole package ready. You're going to have your letters ready. You're going to have all the information, your essays ready. And so then it becomes much easier the more you apply. So, and Janet's going to say that we have 720 hours in a month. Can you commit 3 hours to scholarships in a month? That's not a lot. Okay, so now it's back to you. I want you to read this slide and write in the chat which surprises you the most. Or if you'd like, you could use your pointer, which is on the top left-hand side of the screen, to grab it. If you're on a cell phone, you're not able to do that. You must use a chat. But the pointer is the arrow on the top left-hand side of the screen, and you can click to point to any one of these that you find the most surprising. Grab your point. Brenda's got her pointer. Good. Top left-hand side is where the pointer is. If you click on that little arrow and then click on the whiteboard, you'll have your pointer. Financial need. And use your chat as well. Which one surprises you? You do not need to be in finance. You don't need straight A's. Andrea, you're right. You don't have to save a small country, and you don't need straight A's to get a scholarship. Community service is really important, but the grades are not for every. There are some scholarships that grades are important, but you don't need to have straight A's. Nope. I like this one, Monica, that you pointed to deadlines are year-round, because people sometimes think, oh, I missed the deadline for a scholarship. It's October and I missed it. I can never apply again. there's a couple things you can do. You can put in your calendar for next year, because sometimes you can apply even if you're second or third year, and then you'll remember. And also, you can know that there's so many different scholarships to apply for. The deadlines for the years come all throughout. And on Scholarships Canada, there's actually a deadline tracker, which I'm going to show you, to keep track of all the deadlines that are coming up, because scholarships come through all year round. I like this one too. The scholarships are from everybody from 16 to 96. I like to say from college, university to graduate levels. Absolutely, everybody has an opportunity. Now, Janet's specialty works with grade 10 and 11s, but everybody, there's scholarships for everybody out there, and we're going to show you that. And Lisa, thank you so much. This is the last point that I'm going to highlight, and the fact is, never ever pay for a scholarship application. If somebody asks you for a fee, it's a scam. Don't pay any money to apply for a scholarship. There's plenty that don't need money, and just run far, run fast. Thank you for bringing that to my attention, Lisa. All right, so now we've gotten rid of some of the myths, and we've squashed your excuses. Let's move on. Let's move on to Scholarships Canada. So before you can apply for a scholarship, you have to be ready. So have a binder ready, get organized, have personal circumstances. Are you an amputee? Have you been bankrupt in your family? Brain injury, foster child, PTSD, single parent. Think about your personal circumstances, and that will really help you in your essay. You also want to be prepared with your list of community service. Have accomplishments, get letters, get all that stuff ready. Letters from teachers, letters from some community services. If you're in financial need, you'll need some information on your records. If it's an academic scholarship, you'll need transcripts to be ready, so make sure you have them at the ready. Make sure you know your background, your heritage, the field of study that you're interested. The affiliation. Now, the affiliation I put here twice. And I'm going to ask somebody to please mute. See, Lisa, can you mute your microphone for me, please? It's just at the right-hand side of your name. That would be wonderful. Great. Okay, so I put affiliation twice because when we take the tour, in a couple of minutes, we're going to take the tour of the Scholarships Canada website. And when we take the tour, you're going to see that you can actually put into your profile your affiliation with the Canadian Military Forces. So I wrote this twice because the affiliation is that important, and I'm going to share it with you when we go through the tour. Any activities, sports, religious, academic, whatever, bagpipes, there's a scholarship for being tall from Tall Societies of Canada. Anything's possible. Just don't give up and keep trying, Have a binder ready with all this information, and then you're going to be ready to apply for multiple scholarships. Also, a friend of mine who lives in British Columbia had graduated university without debt. She had $80,000 in scholarships. And her secret, she didn't give up. The first 16 times applications that said no, she went for number 17, and that was her first one. So don't give up. You've got it. And she ended up with over 80,000 in scholarships because she says she didn't have to save a small country. Yes, you will have access to some of the slides, not all the slides. Absolutely, so you don't have to take notes. And we're going to give you an after-session email as well. So Scholarships Canada has, over 99,000 awards worth almost $200 million. So get matched. What I'm going to do now is share with you my desktop so that you can see what Scholarships Canada website is all about. So here I've set up a password so I could log in. While you're here, by the way, please bring your mouse right up to the top of the screen and click Participant Panel so that you can still unmute or chat. And click the chat button, And just put yes in the chat so I make sure that everybody's seen the chat. Great, so you can continue with your great questions. If you haven't seen the chat, great, excellent. You'll see the chat bar, fantastic. Okay, so keep continuing chatting. So this is the Scholarships Canada website, and I'm going to log in. Sunshine80 is my login name. And it's here where we have a dashboard. But first we're going to manage, I'm going to click on Manage Subscriptions so that you can see where we can find new dates. Here is the scholarship deadline alert that I wanted to share with you under Manage. And I have yes, which means that any scholarships that are coming due this month, I get alerted to. So every month there's new scholarships that I get because I'm alerted to each one. I'm going to go back to my dashboard. And I live in a very slow internet. So now I'm going to show you how you update your profile. So I'm going to update my profile. And this is where you put in your basic information, your current education, as well as your interest. Under Scholarship Profile, when you're setting up your profile, look at this. You can put all the information about your academic average. You can put what's your heritage. And here is the affiliation box, any extracurricular activities. Here is the affiliation box, where if you put in Canada, you're going to get, if you're affiliated with Canada Post or Engineers, or if you're affiliated with the Canadian military, you put Canadian in, you get the Air Force, the Cadet. So you put whatever affiliation you are. If you're part of Canadian Airlines or Auto Workers Union, Canadian Blood Services, whatever company or Cancer Society, you put your affiliation in here. And then there's more than 30 scholarships on this website alone for people with affiliations with the Air Force or the military. So make sure you check that affiliation there. And the next thing I wanted to show you were the featured scholarships, and then we're going to go back to the presentation. So the featured scholarships, this is what your scholarship looks like. You see the views? That tells you how many people are looking at this. So this win-free tuition at York University, not many people are looking at it. But when you look at life points, very high. So maybe start with one that's not so high. So when you set up a profile, you're going to have featured scholarships that are specific to you. Now I'm going to stop sharing because those were the main points that I wanted to share with you. So remember, create your profile after the session, manage your subscriptions, review your scholarships, search for specific scholarships. There's a search engine on there. We can show you later if you'd like. Make sure you use your define. Under subscriptions, you can track. Refine your search, and there's so many free resources as well on blogs and essays. And don't forget to put your affiliation in. Is there anything that I've missed, Janet, on this?
No, I think that's it.
Yeah. So basically, we want you to go to this website, set up your profile, and explore. Click on all the buttons. Make sure you've got affiliation, and you're going to see the magic come when those scholarships start coming your way. All right, so we looked at myths. We've broken a whole bunch of excuses. We've looked at the Scholarship Canada website, but that's not the only place that you're going to find scholarships. So now when you have a scholarship, there is always no, not always, there is 99% chance that you're going to be asked to write an essay to go with that scholarship application. This is one of Janet McDonald's specialties. So this content to explain how to write a winning scholarship essay is protected by My Campus GPS. And it's specifically only for those registered and here tonight at this workshop. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pause the recording, and we're going to give a summary for those listening to the recording after this session. So I'm going to pause the recording right now. And then, Janet, you can continue.
At the top are some tabs there. I do have a services tab, so you can see how I work with students. There are some free resources on there as well that you can download. There I have information for grade 11 students and grade 12. And then the last one over here is my blog, and I have about 60 articles on there, mostly to do with scholarships, but some on admission and some on career exploration. So lots of great free information on my blog, and so you can access that anytime. And my blog was named one of the top education blogs in Canada. So I'm going to do the summary now, that's kind of the top 10 summary. The first thing to do is I do suggest that you schedule the time for this process. If you don't schedule it, it probably won't get done. So if you can just put aside even 3 hours out of those 720 hours in a month, then that could really give you a good return on investment. Tell that story in your essays. People respond to stories, and it will be helpful for you to make it memorable and put your essay at the top of the pile. So make it personal, make it interesting, make it memorable, and write the body first, conclusion second, and that important introduction, write that last. Avoid the grocery list of and then I did that, and then I did this. Get personal in your essay. That is the purpose of it. Use the STAR method for your essays. It's a great way to just get past the blank page and start to write. It will give you a good guide to do that. So Google the STAR method and you'll find lots of information on that. Make sure you're following all of the requirements. So don't go over the word count or you could be disqualified. Talk to the administrator if you have any questions about the scholarship at all, anything about anything really. All it takes usually is just an email to contact them, and I found they've been always very helpful to let you know what to do. Don't assume you don't qualify, just contact them first and see. The seventh thing is to edit. We didn't talk too much about that, but you should have someone who can proofread your essays. So this is someone who has, good writing skills, and if you can get a second pair of eyes or even a third pair of eyes on your information, you can get some really great feedback and then make it the best it can be, and then just reuse that puppy over and over again. And grammar and spelling, it does count. Producing, it doesn't have to be perfect. I have seen scholarships essays with some mistakes in them, and as long as there's not a lot, that won't hold you back, from potentially winning. But you should always do your best to produce your best work, because that shows you care, and care enough to produce your best work and submit it. It shows them that you really want the award. Make sure that you are answering the question and just edit out anything that is not vital to your main message. Reuse your content, and that will help you to apply for more scholarships in less time, and that is the way that people win scholarships.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, Janet.
You're welcome.
We've learned an awful lot about the essay. Here's an interesting fact down here. Never, ever pay for an application fee. If there's an application fee run, it's probably a scam. So thank you so much. Now what we're going to do is we're going to have one more summary page. And this is just to give you an example, especially for those who were listening to the recording. As an administrator, which opening essay or statement would you give the scholarship to? So would you give it to A, I play football and I raise money for the community? Or would you give it to B, This was the last game of the season. As I ran onto the field to the roar of applause, I saw the thermostat with the final fundraising total of over $20,000 for a worthy cause. Through leadership, vision, and hard work, we exceeded our original goal. Use your chat. Would you do A or B? Please put in the chat, A or B. Which one is going to win the award if you are the administrator? Absolutely, right? B, B. Thanks, Brenda. Stay away from the I in the grocery list. Thank you so much, Janet. So this is how you can contact Janet, and there'll be some information in the after-session email as well. You can contact her on your Twitter, on her LinkedIn or Facebook, and at her website where you'll find her award-winning blogs and other resources. And remember, scholarships are for everyone. Thank you so much, Janet.
You're very welcome.
Excellent. Okay, so it is your turn now. It was very informative. You're absolutely right. It's your turn now. Where else can we find scholarships besides Scholarships Canada? Go. And again, Janet, could you please let them know? Or
okay.
Let me know.
Our is the first one.
Okay.
The local Legion.
The Legion, yep. Where else can we find scholarships, guys?
University website, high schools. Yeah, it's one person said our high school tweets out links to scholarships. Some guidance counselors are very active on Twitter, and I follow them, and they do tweet out stuff. And they also tweet my stuff, so I put out scholarships on my Twitter as well. Your workplace, employers.
Wow, you guys are going fast.
Volunteers, town municipal centers.
Awesome. Keep them coming. Excellent. Your workplace.
Church.
Yeah. Okay, my goodness, you've given us a really good list, and we're going to give you more of a list. Okay. Associations, yes. Remember, there's a scholarship for being tall. And any bagpipers here? There's one for being a bagpiper as well. Various associations. That's where it's really important to put in your what you're connected to on the scholarship profile. Excellent. So I'm going to go through 5 different scholarships right now, scholarship opportunities for Canadian military families. First off is Support Our Troops, March 24th. We're going to be learning more about them. They have 69 scholarships available. And what's very interesting about them is their essay is 3 parts, and it's 450 words. But we're going to learn more about that, and their deadline is for May. Also, did you know about the Leonard Foundation? So the Leonard Foundation has 140 awards that they give away annually, up to $1,500 each. And some of them, many of them, are for families of the Canadian Armed Forces community. So I'm going to send you these links also in the after-session email. Here's an interesting one, the TD Scholarship. Do you know about this one, Janet? And can you talk to it a little bit?
Yes, I do know this one. I've helped some students with this one. The nice thing about this is that they, it says at least 2 scholarship recipients are chosen from each of the 5 regions. So the applicant pool is not really Canada-wide. You're within a region of Canada. So that makes it so that it's, you know, less competitive, I guess you would say, than if you were competing against everyone across Canada. This one is quite competitive, I will say, but it's $70,000, and there are, I believe, 20 of these. So even though, like some of these larger scholarships, even though the financial gain of them, like $70,000, there actually are 20 of them or so to give out. So your chances are pretty good. with these, although this one is, like I say, quite competitive.
Yeah, fantastic. Somebody said, ask your local Legion. You're absolutely right. Excuse me. Oh, you're absolutely right. The local Legions will have information on scholarships from the Poppy Fund. Did you know Wounded Warriors offers 2 types of scholarships? Oh my goodness, excuse me. There we go. Did you know Wounded Warriors offers 2 types of scholarships? One is for doctorate and one is for first-year post-secondary. We actually had somebody who took this class win the first for post-secondary 2 years ago. And she learned from her story that she shared from her story her journey with her parent who's military, who was deployed to Afghanistan and peacekeeping. And that won her $5,500 from Wounded Warriors Canada. But it's not only for post-secondary, they're also looking for doctorates and masters as well. So there's all kinds of different levels. I added this one. It's not a military one, but it's my alma mater, so I kind of had to put it in there. The Schwartz Business School, and they have a number of 20,000 renewable for 4-year scholarships. There's 4 of them, and so if you have the grades and if you have the information, there's different scholarships that you can look up on that website. Which goes to show, too, you can go to any university and they'll have scholarship pages as well that you can check out as well. Okay, so other scholarship resources. So there's the guidance counselor. We talked about that. Insurance companies, banks, like the leadership scholarship. Churches, you guys made that point as well. Holiday foundation, hospital foundations like the IWK, your place of employment, Tim Hortons, McDonald's, a lot of these places have, Starbucks have employment scholarships. Ask. Your parents' place of work, your grandparents' place of work. Ask. Sports organizations, community organizations, trade unions, bagpipes associations, military organizations. Vanier has another doctorate scholarship. Just ask. If you have any thoughts, just ask. You can also use where you pay your taxes at your home province. Yes, so that's a great question. We're going to bring that up. The question was, how do you apply for these scholarships if you are living out CAN? And so, for example, for the TD Canada leadership, specifically for that scholarship, when I first saw it 4 years ago, OutCan Canadians were not eligible. Now they've changed it since we've told them about our community. They've changed it so that if you use your post office box, a Belleville address, you're able to apply, because now they understand, but they didn't understand at the time. So they've made changes in that particular one. And again, as Janet said, ask the administrator, give them a call and say, here's the story. I'm Canadian military. I'm going to school in Canada, but I'm living out CAN. Ask the question. So I'm going to highlight this here. Just ask the question. Right, Janet?
Yes, absolutely.
They want to get to know us. They do. And there's thousands of scholarships awarded by community. Just ask. Okay. So this is the last activity before we go. Give this a read. I'm going to give you 2 minutes to read this slide, and then in this chat, I want you to tell me which fact has been the most impactful to you. Which fact has been the most impactful to you? Yeah, you can use your pointer as well. Absolutely. There are more than 15 million scholarships that go out that nobody's applied for. Absolutely. Lisa, yeah, your email address matters. Make it professional, not bunnyrabbit17@gmail.com. We have, Janet, we have a lot of 7s. You don't have to be in financial need.
Mm-hmm.
Word count matters. Use a word count tool. That's a great one, because we had an administrator for Support Our Troops actually said to me that they didn't think that people knew what a word count tool was. So make sure you use the word count tool. There are too many to pick. You're absolutely right. These are the lessons learned, right? There's just so many facts that hopefully we've squashed for you tonight, so that you're going to apply and you're going to make the time to make sure that you apply, because the money is there for you. You know, they want to give it away, and never ever pay an application fee for a privilege to apply for an scholarship. Run, it's a scam. All right. Would you like to share a little bit about this, how to find scholarships, Janet? Because this is going to be in the after session email. 2 of you are going to win this particular resource.
Right, so I created this guide because people sometimes ask me if I find scholarships for people, and no, I don't. That would just take way too long. The best person to find scholarships is for yourself. So this is a guide to help you to do that. So some of the information we will have already covered here. But it does tell you where to look. But even as important as where to look is when you should be looking and how you should be looking. So I cover all of that here, both university awarded scholarships and the external ones, meaning the ones that are offered by all of the other organizations. So it's a comprehensive guide that will help you to just you can develop a strategy by using this guide, and it also has a downloadable scholarship tracker where you can put in the scholarships that you intend to apply for, and helps you to keep things organized.
Fantastic. So look forward to the after session email, which we'll be getting out on Monday. And we'll have the recording as well as the 2 winners for the how to find scholarships, and we'll have information on the STAR method as well. Okay, so your mission, should you choose to accept it. Number 1, set up a profile on scholarshipscanada.com. Find a scholarship that you can apply for and write that first draft essay of your scholarship. Have it edited by 3 people, and remember, stay away from I can, I did, I, the grocery list. Submit an application for at least 1 scholarship in the next 3 weeks, and report back of your successes. And then edit, and start all over again. Stake your claim, apply. Remember, my friend who won $80,000, it took her 16 to get her first one. But don't give up. Okay, so we've learned a lot. We're going to just check the parking lot first for some questions. Janet, can you get a scholarship without community service?
Yes, you can. Now, community service is probably the most important thing for scholarships. However, there are scholarships for students who don't have community service. So the types that I'm talking about here, the main type would be an essay contest. So essay contests are great because they don't require grades, they don't require references, they don't require you to, a lot of times, to have that list of community service. They just require you to write about a topic, and often those topics can be aren't super serious. So for example, there's one called The Dumbest Thing I Did with Money. Excuse me, now I'm losing my voice too. It's called The Dumbest Thing I Did with Money. It's put on by the credit union, credit unions and banks. And the essay is about something dumb you have done with money. And one of the criteria for the essay is that it's funny. So, I mean, when you think about that, anybody could write that essay because we've all done something dumb with money before. So there are essay contests, and like I say, it's not usually something that's very serious or anything. It could be something that is quite light, like the dumbest thing I did with money. That's usually the best bet if you don't have any community service at all.
And then also just really dig deep, because almost everybody has some kind of community service, and maybe it's an essay about a challenge, because maybe bullying or whatever the challenge is in your particular world, cancer, whatever it may be, PTSD, whatever it may be. That would be another way to have an essay. Awesome. So dig deep. Thank you. Are there scholarships for those who want to travel abroad? Yes, absolutely. In Scholarships Canada, please make sure that that's one of the topics that you want to study abroad and travel abroad. And that's part of the profile when you're setting up. Yes, there are scholarships for people that want to travel abroad. Is that correct, Janet?
Yes.
Awesome. And for the essay, are they typically 3 body paragraphs or less or more?
I'm not sure if I understand that, but within the body of the essay, are there 3 paragraphs? Is that, I think that's the question.
Yeah, so would it be like a 3-paragraph essay?
Well, there's no real right or wrong answer in terms of how many paragraphs. You know, the rule with a paragraph is that new thought, new paragraph, right? That's when you know to start a new paragraph. So when you have, you know, a brand new thought, start a new paragraph. It could be, you know, the essay could be 10 paragraphs, or it could be 3 paragraphs.
And for Support Our Troops, they're asking 3 topics in 450 words, so that would be like 3 short paragraphs.
Right, very short, yeah.
Are parents able to help their children with essays? How frowned upon is that?
Help, yes. Write it for them, no. So, and that happens. But the readers can usually tell when a parent has written or edited the essay so much so that it no longer sounds like a teenager, basically. You know, so it is definitely frowned upon to do too much. But how parents can be helpful is to point out, you know, obviously any mistakes or anything like that, spelling or punctuation errors and things like that, and then just to help them by making suggestions, but not to write it or, like I say, edit it so much that it's no longer the student's work.
Excellent. Great answer. We spoke a little bit about scholarship ideas for families for OutCan, and basically it's ask ask the question and let people know what your story is and stake your claim to apply. Awesome. Great question. So now we've come to the end of the session. At the end, when you leave, there will be an evaluation. What were your aha moments from today? So you can either grab your pointer in a text tool and write it on the board if you'd like, or you can put it in the chat. What did you learn from today? Your pointer's on the top left-hand side. It's the little arrow. And if you're joining us on a Mac or laptop, you'll have that access. What did you learn? Or you can put it in the chat as well. Still time to get started. What does that mean, Carrie? And again, Janet, can you help me with the...
Yes, time to get started. There are many different scholarships. I learned what topics are generally covered in the essay and what types of questions. Somebody had never heard of the STAR method.
Ah. Schedule time.
There's so many options. Where to find scholarships.
Wow, there are so many options, right? 720 hours in a month, and can you spare 3?
There's still time to get started. I wonder if that is about the fact that scholarships open and close throughout the entire year. So
Yes.
Any time is a good time. I will say that the majority are probably between, you know, December and April, but they are running at all times of the year. So it's important that sometimes people will say to me, well, I looked, you know, for scholarships, but I didn't find any. And I'll say, well, how many times did you look? And they'll say, oh, well, just once. And it's like, well, it's not a one and done thing, because you could look this week and look in all these different places and there isn't anything there. But then you could look 2 weeks later and, you know, 2 or 3 have just opened up that are perfect for you. And then the next week you look and there's nothing. And then 2 weeks later you look again and 3 more have just opened up. So they're opening and closing throughout the year. So this is not something that you should just do once. It is something that, like I said, you should schedule. I actually suggest that people schedule about 30 minutes every 2 weeks to look in those places that you've identified that are good, you know, good bets for you. So check your Scholarships Canada information, check if you're at school at the guidance office, check, do your Google searches and all of that sort of stuff on a regular basis so that you're finding the ones that are just opening.
And if you're musically inclined, fiddle, piano, there's, you know, different. Carrie, my son has been accepted to Dal, and we didn't see many later dates to apply the first. Can you speak, unmute to share? I'm not quite sure what you're saying there.
Dal, I think their deadline to apply for scholarship consideration is March 1st this year, I think. So did your son, I guess it is, apply through Dalhousie through their general application form? Yeah, it is March 1st, yeah.
Is me okay? Sorry.
So I'm not understanding what she'd like, what Carrie would like. I don't understand. We should advertise what alongside the webinar. I'm not quite sure. Oh, Carrie. Yeah, I'm going to unmute you. There. I can hear you now, Carrie.
Don't think you
Can you speak up a little?
now.
Yeah, that's good.
So you guys were talking about how things pop up. I came on the webinar last fall, and we did exactly that. He was dating still where he had to go, and then we would find another one pop up or another one. You know, you feel like, oh gosh, I missed that one that seems so perfect, but then the next one is great. So I was just making the point that you can keep looking.
Exactly, yes. And if you miss one, well, you know what, put it in your calendar for next year, because sometimes it's for 2nd or 3rd or 4th years.
That's right. And the March 1st deadline, yes, has come up, but we've looked at all that. Like I feel like we've accomplished those ones. That's great. Now, what else is out there? So yeah. He's gone back down to continue writing the next essay, which is important because everything that he's used hasn't brought in anything yet, but maybe we just need to keep changing it up.
And March 24th, we're having an information session with Support Our Troops, so you could learn exactly what they're looking for as well.
Great.
So that's a Support Our Troops. Excellent. Well, that is all of our information for you today. I'm going to stop the recording, but when you leave, there's going to be an evaluation. You'll get an after-session email as well with this recording, and the evaluation will be in there if you miss it tonight. But we really, please send us your comments so that we can continually improve these sessions. We're really thankful that you've come out and staked your claim, apply. We've broken the myth, so now it's time for you to go out and apply and let us know.
Thanks, everybody.
We've had people from these scholarship workshops that we've been doing for the last 7 years now, and we've had some come up with 5,500 and 7,500. So we're It's a pretty good system. Just follow it. You're welcome. It's a pleasure. Yes, of course. You can contact us. Well, I'll send you an email, Emma, and then we can send you information, and you can contact us back via email when you've got your email. Is that okay, Emma? So we'll send you the after-session email by email. It's late here. I'm in Germany. It's 3 o'clock in the morning. Sorry, I'm babbling. All right, stopping recording now.